What's up, guys? My name's Adam, and this is Adam Teaches Music. Today, I'm here to share with you a little bit of story time about myself and also give you 5 tips as you try to unlock mastery of the guitar. Maybe you've been studying classical guitar for a few years. Maybe you are feeling a little uninspired by the etudes and all the pieces that you're learning, and maybe you want to connect to music on a more heartfelt level and make it your own. Maybe you're not quite into the rigidity of classical music and classical training, and you're looking for something that's a little bit more practical, a little bit more hands-on, if you will. So we're going to jump right into this video, but before we do, I'd invite you to go check out the description. I put a link there to a free PDF that is my 10-step blueprint to arranging any song on fingerstyle guitar. It's a worksheet that will guide you through some steps that I take when I'm arranging songs, and it's going to help keep you organized as you go through your arranging process. So with that out of the way, let's get into the video. So the first thing is, there's no right or wrong way to play the guitar in the beginning, or there's no right or wrong way to learn the guitar, especially when you're first starting off. The best thing to do is to work with what you have and to just start somewhere, okay? Now, I'm not saying that formal lessons are better or worse than being self-taught or vice versa, right? There are pros and cons to everything, right? There is, all guitar instruction is not created equal. All guitar teachers are not equal. All methods are not equal, but you can't always rely on having the best, right? You got to work with what you got. So no matter where you are in your journey, you want to find what is passionate to you about music. Why do you want to play guitar? What is calling your name? What is like, oh my God, this would be so cool if I could just do blank, right? Now, if you haven't thought about that, maybe a good place to start would be like, what kind of music do you like? What do you enjoy listening to? When you're not worried about, playing guitar, you're just having a good time. Maybe you're driving your car, maybe you're, with friends listening to music. What kind of music are you passionate about? What gets you going? What lights your fire, right? What ticks your clock? All these things are going to help you decide when you're trying to learn the guitar, what style you should go into. I started playing classical guitar when I was 8 years old. There happened to be a conservatory outreach department 5 minutes from my house growing up. It wasn't necessarily because I wanted to play classical guitar, but that was the option available to me. And I didn't hate it. I also didn't really particularly love it either, but it became like a core part of who I was. And music in general became a huge part of who I was. And I had also been playing drums at the same time as guitar. And when I got to high school, I was able to join the marching band, and I was able to join jazz band. And I was very fortunate that the school that I went to didn't have a very serious music program. And in a way that was good for me because it allowed me to find the freedom of expression and creativity that I wasn't getting in classical guitar lessons on drums. I could improvise, I could do whatever I wanted. It was free and it was amazing. And I love that part about music. And I still believe to this day that that's really what inspired me to pursue music as a career. So I never considered drums, to be honest, even though I love playing them. And I went into classical conservatory for guitar. And while I was studying my undergrad in guitar, we had to take piano. And it's interesting because piano was similar to the drums for me. I didn't have any preconceived notion about what I had to do on piano. I was very free to create. And I love practicing the piano. In fact, sometimes I practice more piano than I practice guitar because I love to just improvise and to sit and explore the sounds that I can make on the piano. And it was extremely inspiring for me. And I got that same feeling that I did when I was playing the drums. And I was like, damn, I wish I could feel this level of creativity on the guitar. So that's the first tip, is actually like what you're playing. Because, you know, we hear about practice all the time. Practice your guitar, practice your guitar. Well, you're going to want to practice a hell of a lot more if you actually like the music you're playing. So the second thing that I wish I knew is that no matter what style of music you start with, you got to understand 3 core elements of music. The first is rhythm, the second is pitch, and the third is harmony. Okay, in that order, right? These are the 3 building blocks of basically all Western music. And understanding these on a fundamental, even if a basic level, is going to really help demystify music and make it make more sense for you. Okay, I would start with rhythm, because rhythm is like the heartbeat of all music, right? And you don't need to necessarily even have a guitar. You can learn to play rhythms using your hands. You can drum on your knees. You can use a drum if you want to do that. You could even just tap on a table or tap on your guitar. But to understand just basic rhythmic patterns and understand how time is organized into beats, into measures, that's going to really help you later on when you go to play the guitar, because you'll have an innate understanding of rhythm. Okay. Second thing is pitch. Now, pitch is high and low sounds, right? We can obviously play different sounds on our guitar, but we can also sing them too. The most natural instrument that we have is our voice. And I really think that once I started to sing, a whole world opened up for me on the guitar. I was able to now hear in my head what I wanted to play, and I could then put it on the guitar. So you don't have to be a great singer, you don't have to have perfect pitch, but you do want to start to try to sing, and try to sing your songs and sing the melody that you're trying to play. Put words to it. You know, most songs have lyrics. Sing the lyrics, sing the melody, and then sing along while you're playing too. And that'll help you internalize what it's supposed to sound like, so that way when you play it, you're going to remember it, right? Because if you don't know what it sounds like, there's no way you can play it on the guitar, right? We have to hear it first in order to be able to play it. And finally, the third thing is harmony. Harmony is another way to say chords, right? This is the filler. This fills in all the space of the sound, right? You can have music with rhythm and pitch by itself without harmony. That's fine. But if you add harmony to it, it opens up a whole nother color palette, okay? But it's important to understand that there's a difference between melodic notes and harmonic notes, right? Some notes are not as important as others. Melody notes are the most important. That's what your ears are going to remember is the tune. And the harmony notes are there to support that melody. So understanding the difference is going to help you to play lines and play music that is in the correct balance. It's going to sound balanced, similar to how an audio engineer will balance a track, right? There'll be, let's say there's a dozen different tracks. He's going to go and adjust the volume for each track in order for it to sit well in the mix. And on guitar, fingerstyle guitar, classical guitar, we are doing the same thing with our fingers. By the way, guys, if you're looking for a great place to start with rhythm, I highly recommend you check out my next video, because it's going to be about how I would explain rhythm to someone in the simplest way possible, and you're not going to want to miss it. So I'll link that at the end of the video too. All right, back to the video. The third thing is music theory helps, guys. Music theory helps. Now, you don't have to be able to analyze a Bach fugue, and you don't even have to necessarily be able to read sheet music well, because here's the thing. Simply just reading sheet music is not music theory, right? That's like understanding letters, right? But not knowing that they make up words, or understanding words, but not understanding that they make up sentences and paragraphs and the whole story, right? So music theory goes a lot deeper than just the notes on the page. It's how those notes function, and the framework in which we put those notes into, the context that we put them into matters, right? So I was like so shocked to get to music school and understand that the past 10 years of my life studying guitar, all I had basically learned was how to copy notes on a page and play on the guitar, right? I had no idea about music theory. I had no idea like how music functioned. And I feel like it was assumed the whole time that we know this as guitarists. It opened up a huge realm of possibilities to music that I was like, oh, it makes sense now why I did this before. And I could now start to understand the building blocks in music and understand it more as a language than anything, right? Like becoming fluent in English or fluent in Spanish, right? You start to think in that language. I know I took a jazz improv class in college, and you know, I wasn't the only guitarist there, a classical guitarist, trying to learn how to improvise. A lot of us were robots. We can play this crazy music, this like insane amount of technical difficulty on the classical guitar, but yet when it comes to just improvising over a simple blues, we can't do it. We have no way to express ourselves. And that bugged me. I'm like, there has to be some way to incorporate the two worlds together. Classical was like, I'm going to read this speech perfectly, word for word, and I'm going to have all the articulation perfect. And then improvisation is just like, yeah, we're going to have a conversation. It's going to flow naturally. We're going to have fun. We're going to share ideas. We're going to bounce off of each other. We're not thinking about how it's going to happen. It just does. Yeah, music theory really doesn't have to be complicated, guys. It's really just a palette of notes that you can, it's like you have this bowl of notes, right? And we call that a scale, right? And we can take those notes and form something called chords, right? And those chords have a function in that container, right? They function a certain way in that bowl, right? And we can put them in different orders. We can mix and match them however we want, but we can understand where they belong and why they belong there. The fourth thing that really helps is having good technique. Now, I think this is where I draw upon most from my classical training, because there is a lot of focus, especially later on in my studies, in my master's degree, about technique and how to play relaxed and to play without tension. And I do think that no matter what style of music you end up playing, whether it's classical or not, playing at ease with a good technique is really, really important. Now, there might be some differences between styles in music and also from person to person for what technique works for you, but keeping at a core principle is playing in an aligned way for you and your body. That's going to be really, really important. So alignment, body alignment, relaxation, and remembering that tension is resistance. Resistance is going to prevent you from achieving what you want. It's going to prevent you from playing at ease and playing freely. Have you ever watched someone play a guitar where just like that looks really hard? And then you watch someone else and they play and it looks, wow, that looks so easy. And subconsciously, we know that it's not easy. We know that they're just really, really good, right? But it comes down to a lot of their techniques, right? How are they playing in a way that makes them feel at ease? It makes them feel comfortable, right? Having a good technique is going to facilitate that. Having a good, fundamental body mechanics of how to hold the guitar. It's going to help you so much, right? And be able to create good sound. Because let's be honest, playing the guitar is a difficult instrument, right? It's not just like the piano where you press a key and it makes a sound, right? There's like the angle of the fingertip, making sure you're next to the fret, and the way we, how much pressure we apply, how we apply that pressure. All these things are going to affect our sound. And if we don't have a good foundation to go off of, it might take us a lot longer to achieve the good sound that we want. Okay, now you might need a teacher for that. You might need someone to give you feedback in order to realize where your technique is lacking and how you can eliminate areas of tension. But, if it feels hard, you're probably doing something wrong. Yeah, the fifth thing that I wish I knew when I was learning guitar is playing from the heart is the best way to play. And the reason I say that is because at its core level, everything comes from here, right? We imagine things, right? But then when we express them, it comes from our heart. So even if you're playing notes written from a page, like by a composer, like you process it here and then it comes out here. And when it comes out here, it becomes the most authentic version of that to you, right? And I think this also helps with performance and having just really awe-inspiring, beautiful performances. Performing would always get me really nervous, right? You feel that energy, that building up, like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I can do this. This is really scary. And you start to think about what to do. What should I do? Where do I play now? What comes next? What technique do I need to do to achieve this? So like, what problem? You start thinking about the problem areas in your piece and your performance, and then it suffers. You go and you make a mistake, right? You have a memory slip, or you go through just complete like shutdown where you can't function, you can't play. Some people never perform because their bodies shut down. And what I found is the reason that happens is because people don't understand the difference between the two minds. They don't understand the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. They don't understand this and this. So basically the conscious mind is how we learn the music, right? We hear the words, we hear our lessons from our teachers. You're hearing me, right? And you're processing that information. You're putting it into practice. You're playing, you're working on it, right? That's our conscious mind. When we go to take all that knowledge and to put it out into music, we have to turn off our conscious mind. The subconscious mind knows it. You've already told it. It's literally has all the instructions. It just has to now carry out. It's like an autopilot, right? It goes and it carries out the instructions. So what can we learn from that? The first thing is we want to make sure that we're giving our conscious mind good instructions, right? If we give a bad instruction, we're recording that. Our subconscious mind is now learning the wrong thing, right? We're learning what sometimes we call bad habits. So we don't want to learn bad habits. We want to learn good habits because we can't actually undo a bad habit. We have to replace that habit with a better habit, which is, as I'm sure many of you are aware, twice, if not more, difficult than the first habit that we created. Be conscious in your practice when you're learning, and when you're performing, be subconscious. Play from the heart. Play without getting in the way. And when someone is in tune with their own subconscious, their own creativity, and their own divinity, they're able to put out music that is inspiring because we can feel that as human beings. So get out of your head, guys. Get out of your own conscious mind when you're playing and let the music flow from the heart. All right, guys, that wraps up this video. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you got some value from it. And I hope that you can put this into your own practice so that you can continue to level up your playing. If you really liked it, send me a like, send me a comment, guys. I want to hear from you. Let me know what you thought and how I can help you guys further in your journey on fingerstyle guitar. You know, these 5 thoughts that I had today are just the tip of the iceberg. I'm going to keep sharing with you guys more lessons and tricks that I've learned, and I hope to have you along for the ride. So hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to go into the link in the description, download that free PDF. It's going to give you my 10-step blueprint to how I arrange any song for fingerstyle guitar. It's going to help keep you organized, help keep you on track and focused as you're trying to arrange your songs. Let's go grab that. And guys, I hope to see you next time. And remember that there are no words, no matter how eloquent, that can express the beauty and raw imagination of God's pure genius. You. Take care, guys.